Hey
How's
guys.
it going?
Hey, great
Hello.
to be joining.
All right, I'll lead off because I was captain, I suppose. I'm Grant. I'm from Southern New Jersey, near Atlantic City. We all kind of play out of the same meta in Philly. I have been playing for right since around Colossals came out, and I've played Signar 90% of that, and then Scorn for a little bit. I think that's about it for me.
Yeah, my name's Rich. I live about 40 minutes from Grant in South Jersey. I'm one of the OGs. I've been playing Warmachine since Mark 1. So, it's probably over 10 years by this point. Did quite a few factions. Kind of known as a Scorn guy. That's my favorite faction. And that's what I played at Bokur Brawl. So yeah, that's me.
Derek A. Yeah, we got two Dereks on the stream, so it's always confusing. My name is Derek. I'm out of the Philly location. Moved around to New York, played up in that meta. Then we came back to Philly, but knew these guys for a long time. Didn't know Rich was actually from first generation until we started talking at Hooters, which was hilarious. I play Crix. Yeah, I didn't know. Got Crix first. Terminus got me into the game because he was the biggest caster you could possibly get. So I was like, all right, I want to try it out, and I bought him first, and he was awesome. I ran him for a long time. I was always the Horde, like you just literally push your models across the table. All these guys can contest to that. Yep. And then I switched to Legion about 2 years ago.
Damn near the exact opposite.
Legion and Crix. They were like the top two in the meta for like a long time. Yeah. But I wanted a Hordes army, so I went to Legion, and Angels were like one of the best looking models in the game, so I got that. And then went to Mercs. I only went to Mercs just to get two specific lists, just to kind of play that out. I always liked Blaze, and Blaze is like my favorite Merc caster. She's terrible, but I still like her. And I played Legion in the Bokur Brawl.
Anymore.
Yeah. When you have to rely on your enemy killing models, it's not good.
That's fair.
Which is one of my games I'll talk about a little bit later.
I'm Derek Sandstrom, again, down in the South Jersey area. Obviously, I played Crucible Guard for the event, but I've been playing since the beginning of Mark III. And I've sort of just around faction to faction, but primarily my home is like Kador.
And then the fifth member... Oh, go ahead, Derek. I'm sorry.
No, that's it.
Fifth member of our team, everybody knows Jake Van Meter from up in Massachusetts area. Has played Legion forever, probably the poster boy of Legion for the entire game. Jake is currently flying to Warfare Weekend, so he couldn't join us, and the timing was already kind of hard enough with you guys being ahead and with the four of us, so he told us just to go on without him. But he's been on enough casts; he's had his time to shine, so he's old news. It's fine.
Yeah, our team was basically a bunch of random nerds in JVM.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he helped. He went 4-0, so he helped a little bit, I guess. But
with like the most random lists you could bring to a tournament.
Like Thags 2, and what was his main other lists? So I saw
Rias.
I saw the Thags 2 game. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, when we wanted
Thags 2 the entire time.
I think I saw one of you guys comment over the weekend that you'd had a chat, and then at the start, once you'd submitted your lists, then JVM went, we were meant to take this serious.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to, once the list dropped, I wanted to have a call about the list just to go through like what the dodges and stuff were, and Jake was like, "Oh shit, we're taking this seriously." And I was like, "Oh man." Yeah. But I knew he'd be fine. I knew even rusty JVM would still kick everybody's
It'll be
ass. So.
JVM.
Yeah, exactly. So it was fine even with his lists, but
Cool. So you guys, I'm guessing. I know. Certainly, you've done Bokur Brawl a bunch, right? You used to talk about it on your podcast, Grant. So, what? Just give us a quick rundown of like the event itself for people that know. Obviously, there's the solos and the team event. Obviously, you're the winners of the team event because I just gush over team events. Basically, I think they're like immense.
Yeah, they're awesome. So the Bokur Brawls run out of northern New Jersey. Currently, it's at the VFW in Manville. It's run by Seth Cohen and Steve Rabideau, two NJSOBs, longtime gamers, especially in Warmachine EOs. They've run a lot of local tournaments, a lot of local events. This is their convention. We've got this event, the 5-man team tournament. There's also a Warfare Weekend qualifier. And then they also do what's called the Big Base Brawl, where Seth loves swag. He wants everybody to like leave with bags of stuff. So he has a Big Base Brawl where the top half of the field get a colossal or some type of huge base as their stuff. They also do a bounty system, so there's certain things on there that you can do throughout the game in that event to earn other stuff, and he's got different tiers of prizes that you can earn. And their mentality is always that no matter if you're on the final table or if you're there just to have a fun, you're going to get the same level of attention from the judges and from the staff. You're going to have the same experience no matter whether you're playing casually or competitively. You know, everybody's equal and everybody's there to have a good time. And they run a fantastic event. I really recommend if you like team tournaments. It's really, really great. They do a fantastic job.
Yeah, that sounds like
really cool.
We got the Welsh Masters over here. That's like very similar ethos about like the giveaways and the swag and like the. I think at the end there's like raffles and giveaways and prizes which take probably like as long as like the actual prizes for the winners of the event. And I think my first Welsh Masters I came home with like £200 worth of just loot. I didn't like win. Didn't win anything. I think I like won like most CPs or something. But yeah, I had like a Celestial Fulcrum and just blisters upon blisters of models and like random stuff. I was like this is pretty good for like a $30 ticket.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Actually, they did the same thing at the last couple of nationals as well, up at Element.
Yeah.
I love a bit of where at least like 70% of people go home with just something.
Yeah. He always gives out flags and objectives and then dice and then widgets and wall templates, and that's just like what you get for playing. And then there's a bunch of other stuff, and they eat not even just the swag. They run a fantastic event, and I mean, I talked to him throughout the year about it, and he's always obsessing about like getting food and doing all the stuff. And it's like, Seth, like you do enough, you do everything. It's great. Everyone's gonna have a good time. You don't need to sweat all this stuff, but But yeah, we love team tournaments too. Team tournaments such I mean that's like the draw. Other than if you were gonna go do the big base, the team event. There's not that many of them. You know, there's not that many conventions that run 5-man team events. So you know when you get the chance to do one, they are super fun. They're the best in my opinion.
Over in the UK, we used to have the ETC, the European Team Championship, which died off. I don't know, like. Maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, like the guy in charge of it just lost interest in the game, and then it was very obvious the last event he ran that he didn't give a toss. And a couple of like teams have tried to pick up the torch since then, and they've been like relatively successful, but they've not like carried on running events. They've just like been a one-off 5-man team event. But at my local meta, we've got a 3-man team event in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. So that's really cool. And try to convince our TO that he should run an event all weekend and scale up, but we'll see what we do. So that sounds like an immense like weekend, and I think everyone I've ever talked to about Bokur Brawl has said just it's one of like the best events. Just go to it. So
the timing was also really crazy because it's the first event for most of us after COVID, outside of maybe a pickup game here or there. It was also the update was dropping the Monday after Bokur Brawl, but we had already gotten the changes on Thursday. So the energy and the hype around the game and people being together again, like that all together, and you guys can talk to this as well, like it was just incredible.
It also helped that the convention hall that we were playing at, there's a bar attached to it. It's very cheap because of beer available. So, I mean, by the end of every tournament day, everyone was just drunk and talking about...
we tapped out everything they had.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
That's not
Every keg was tapped.
So let's go on to like the actual the team event. So obviously you said JVM basically just played what he was going to play. Did you guys coordinate what you were playing together, or was it what was your thoughts about it? Were you one manning it, just bring a normal steamroller pair and throw them together as a team, or was it a bit more in depth? How far did you think?
So we had kind of been talking for a while, like pretty much since tickets. We started kind of putting the team together. Rich, Derek, Senstrom, and I had been playing a lot on War Table through the COVID time, so we had been playing quite a bit and had a good feel for. I don't want to say we had a good feel for the meta, but we, it had been kind of stagnant for the last year, pretty much since Death Archons came out. So we kind of knew at least what we were playing.
Yeah.
Rich plays Scorn, so I was going to want him with Zal. Derek was kind of back and forth until we the Crucible Guard updates and kind of told him, hey, we'd love to have Crucible Guard in the comp. And then when Apshi started playing and he's like, I want to play Beth too, I'm like, perfect, because we would absolutely want a Beth 2 on our team. Yes, I don't care what your off list is, bring Beth 2. And then I was playing Signar, and I was playing Haley 2 and Striker 1, and we I was good with that pair. So I think we kind of did anybody really skew super hard for team? I guess we all kind of did what we would bring probably to a steamroller, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say in terms of all the team events I've played in, this is probably the one that we went into with the least amount of planning for a number of reasons. Number one, the game was changing, and I don't know, we were all just so excited to play together at a con again and a little bit out of practice. So I think we kind of all just went with some of our old standbys.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, you're like balls deep with Zal too, right? So you don't need to really think about much else changing, or was not too bad?
I've just played Zal 2. I've probably played 400 games of Zal 2, so it's autopilot for me.
When you see a Zal 2 player versus another Zal 2 player,
he's mostly autopilot from game 1. That's some commitment to go through 411 more.
Well, he wins a lot of games. So
you tweak after every game, right? I know, I know some of you guys used to talk to Jake, right, over here, and obviously he transitioned from Signar to basically Zal, and he'd come down to our club. I'm not sure he ever actually brought anything apart from Immortals. So
yeah,
in theory there was a second list somewhere in his house, but yeah, I think it's a nice way to go. Quite there.
And then Derek, how did you get to where you wanted in Crucible Guard? Because I guess you were kind of bouncing around. I think you just kind of got excited for the faction, right?
Yeah, I mean, as a whole, I think with the update, there was just so many different options, and I ended up putting in a pairing that I actually didn't like, and definitely would not bring to something that wasn't a team tournament, because if you look at my list, they're very identical. It's cool, I got double Vindicator, double Train, double Mental. It's just run good models, and that's about it. Have a flavor of Silvestro or Lucas. So I don't think I want the two of those ever again, but it worked out.
Yeah, I think we didn't have
play Lucas a lot.
Yeah, it was going to be play Lucas a lot. We didn't, it was funny because we had a Zal, we had a Beth 2, we had Crucible Guard, but we didn't have we didn't have a Kruger, we didn't have a Vlad 2, we didn't have a Aurora 1, a Strange Bedfellow. So
was that
was
that a conscious thing that you didn't want to go for something that people are going to be prepped against?
No, we just kind of. I mean, we all played. None of us really played that the faction. I mean, we probably could have put somebody on it, and they probably could have figured it out. But I think when we started talking and kind of putting it together, it was like Legion's super strong, totally fine with double Legion, because Jake didn't want to play Beth 2 anyway, because Jake's gonna do Jake things. And Derek was like, I don't remember how to play this game. I'm just gonna play Beth 2. I'm like, great, do it. That's perfect.
Had models on the table.
Yeah. So I think it wasn't necessarily conscious, but when it kind of came out, we were pretty happy, because those were the lists that, at least again, playing War Table for the last year, that was kind of stuff that I think most people were teching into. Again, there's Zal, there's Beth too, but I didn't feel like we had a comp that was like, oh, okay, I know what to do, into this, so.
Just take every round as it went. Were you guys like aiming to win it, or was it just a happy coincidence?
We aim to win everything we play.
We're always aiming.
That's not a question.
I like it. It's cool. So
we
stick way.
We did. I'll answer. But really, we did put together with the intention of of having a strong competitive team that could win it. Obviously, in a team event, anything can happen. Nobody's really prepared right now because nobody's been playing on the table. But we felt we had a very strong team. We wanted to, but then Jake dropped the bomb of like, I didn't know we were trying, and I thought we were gonna have a call and talk dodges and green, yellow, red our matchups, and then we kind of just shot the shit for an hour and was like, all right, well, we're just gonna have fun then, and we'll see what happens. But
that was literally the call.
How many physical games did you guys get then in the run up? Were you like some of you just literally a couple of games in, or fucking hell? So that was 0 2.
So we had a tournament a weekend before, and I haven't played 6-8 months before then. I was like, Grant, I got to take off work. I got to come to this and play. And then 4 people came, so we played 2 games, and that was the only 2 games I played in 8 months. And then Bokur Brawl.
I'm curious now. So you didn't bring a lot of the meta predators, with the exception of Beth 2. Did you have a plan at least for the meta predators?
I think we all, again, because we play again. Jake was just. Derek was just going to push Beth 2 into people, but I think at least the 3 of us, Derek, Senstrom, Rich, and myself, again, we played a lot of War Table during COVID, so I think we all played into most of those meta lists enough that we knew what our dodges and what our, I knew I could play into Kruger with Striker 1. Rich knew, I think you could play into Strange Bedfellows, right?
I can play into anything.
Yeah, Rich Rich could play Zal into pretty much anything. So the one thing that I said at the event with the War Table was I don't feel the War Table helped me in my play as far as time or anything spacing, any of that, but what it really did help with was identify my list and my pair into the meta. So I think we actually had a good idea of what we could and couldn't play into, whereas some people may have gone into that and been like, I don't know if this is a dodge or if this is a good match for me. And I think we, because of the games, we're actually just able to identify okay, I can't play this, keep me out of this, or try to get me into this. And I think that was one of the strengths that we had.
If I'd gone to a tournament within the first week or two and be starting playing physical games again, Rich is there with 300 games with Zal, and it's a lot of models to move about, and I was playing a lot of Aurora 1 and 2 over War Table, and my first week of playing that list on the table was basically just me fucking scattering angels constantly, trying to reach down and pick up fucking a Toro from in amongst 17 fucking infantry models and just destroying the state of play. So I couldn't play that at an event, which is why I'm playing Grimkin again. But I think some people who maybe learned a new faction or new lists on War Table and now have got to put them on the table are like, oh, this is pretty rough. So it's very different to get back into physical games, but it's nice as well.
We also borrowed boards from Seth. When we helped Seth set up the tables at the Bokur Brawl, and then we were going to play Warmachine in our hotel room, and he let us just borrow 2 of his 4x4s. So we just set up 2 tables in our hotel room, and that night we played 2 games and drank beer and had people in the room and got to play some games. So that was also cool. We got a little bit of practice the night before. Yeah.
Drinking practice, yeah, just to liven.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, with the big changes, well, first of all, what do you all think of how the changes have affected like your main factions, and would you still play those factions now? Like if the Bokur Brawl was this weekend coming, would you jump to a completely different faction, or would you still be on what you played at the event? So go.
I don't think I can do Bethane too.
Yeah, she's a
Yeah, I
little
already
bit
burned
different.
my Sol army, so that's off the table. Never playing that again.
You're so full of shit.
Only 300 more games to go, right, until you can retire.
He did shelf it for now, but it's not
I'm
gone
playing,
forever.
I'm playing Legion now, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, Legion is a really cool spot, I think. They've got like an awful lot of
They really are.
really good options to play. And you
I
can't
think most
obviously-
factions are.
Yeah, can't blame you. I think we've been talking like locally and obviously with Evan, and I think the game is probably like back in this spot where every faction's got some really strong options, pretty much, and like the difference between the top and the bottom is probably like shorter than it's ever been. Like who'd have thought like the trolls would be like so dominant for like.
I don't know if it's quite that open, but it's that unknown that it feels that way.
Yeah, maybe that's the
Like,
thing.
there's so many things that we just don't know what's going to be at the top.
Yeah.
That just it's a great time of experimentation.
Yeah. I mean, in a few months, it could be like, oh, right, well, why didn't we think of that for a meta list? But right now, it's like we're not even talking about list pairs in like our chats. It's just like I'm going to pair these 2 lists together because I want to play them. Who cares? Like I don't know what anyone else is bringing, so I don't know what to prep
Yeah.
for.
That's cool. Derek,
And
you
sometimes
just
it
said
takes a while
experimentation.
sometimes it just takes a while to unlock the broken. Like, when Uno 2 was broken, that got discovered within about 3 weeks. Like, that took no time. But Karchev and his spam, that was available for like 9 months before someone cracked the codes, and then they had to fix it.
Right.
Yep. We lost Derek. We'll reach back up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. It's messed up the overlay. We'll give it a second.
There he is.
There we go.
Answer your question. I still plan on sticking on with Signar. I think Signar had some good changes. Obviously, Haley won in my mind, being the big winner. But I don't plan on switching. I'm testing her currently. I think the rest of you are all switching factions. I think I'm the only one that's sticking with
Yeah,
mine.
I mean, to be serious for a minute, I've just played so many games with Zal and Scorn in general that I'm a little burnt out there, and I'm really excited about just like a totally new playstyle,
Yeah.
which Legion gives me. And I feel like Legion
yes.
back to its roots a little bit. Like I don't feel like I have to put 10 Chosen on the board and just run up the table with my beefy brick.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if you see
Definitely.
a lot of that now. Yeah, it's very much like back to Mark II Legion. It definitely feels like it.
It does. Suddenly the land sharks are actually appealing again and do what they're supposed to on the table. It's a really nice time to be Legion.
I was talking to one of my Welsh teammates earlier, who was saying he doesn't have enough shredders anymore. I think he ran some janky ass Abbey 2 list with like 12 shredders before. Now he's like, I probably need another like 6 shredders just to try this stupid shit. It's like, okay.
And just bring you tell him while he's building up the shredders, just bring 4 rags. He won't regret it.
But so Rich is swapping to Legion. Derek, are you going back to Crix? We were saying before. Is that the valid option? Because I've not seen a lot of people excited about Crix, so it's cool to see that there are players that are...
Did we have a Crix at the? Oh, we had a Scar.
There was one.
Scar 1.
There was.
right?
Yeah, I think there was one
Crix player.
Yeah, I think so.
I played him actually.
How did he do?
It wasn't great. Vaulted hit on his own. It was just Crix doesn't have a lot for Zal 2, or it didn't before.
Yeah, I played that way too many times. So going back to it, but Crix is really what got me into it. So I want to try Terminus again, and them changing his feet maybe makes him a little bit better. And then Deathbound, or not Deathbound, they get 2 attacks.
The point blank.
Yes, point blank coming back. So basically losing half your attacks for a whole theme kind of sucks. So now we get 2 more attacks. I mean, it should be fun going back to
All right, but we can cut that out, right? Because I don't want everyone else starting to play Ghost Fleet. I don't want to see that chick come back.
The point reduction is awesome. Like everything got reduced.
Yeah, people spamming single wound infantry, like let everyone hear it. Make my day.
I know there's one of my locals like gave up the game after Ghost Fleet got nerfed, and every time he pops into a chat, it's does anyone want to buy some pirates? It's like finally you waited long enough. The stocks might go back up.
And then Derek, where are you going, buddy?
I'm probably going on Kador for now. We're testing some Sorsha 3 and I guess Vlad 1 rockets because it's a glorious standby.
That's really like old school Vlad rockets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But if you're testing Sorsha 3, are you actually diving into the shield wall joys, or is that pushing it?
Yeah, so it's gonna end up being in Jaws, because you kind of want to run a heavier battle group with her.
Really,
so
you're
now
not
that
going
you
armored
can-
core?
But you can bring
no, so
match
since
some
you can
animals,
just
right?
bring it.
Yep.
Yeah, you can bring basically any non-tanker man of war into that list. So you can get whatever you want. Obviously not the tankers, but honestly, with her, I don't think she supports them. I know they're solid models on their own, but again, I'm making a more Jack heavy, Jack centric list to benefit from the flank.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot locally just about how we feel like the faction's shaking out, and Kador in our minds is definitely one of the 2 or 3 winners, we think. And
Oh yes.
personally, I'm really excited about Armored Core to see that on the table, because I think the point changes combined with the shield wall change,
Shield wall. Yeah.
just fundamentally like changes the way that theme
You
works.
get so many more dudes if you just play Armored Core.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I've been playing around with the theme, the list building there, and it feels like you just get all the toys when you build that list now.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that shakes out.
Shield wall
And-
is kind of insane right now.
Yeah,
And
that's good.
And Legion of Steel. I have dreams of seeing Ironfang Pikemen on the table. Is it too soon for
Keep
that
on
dream?
dreaming.
Is that so your 2 Deathstalkers just kill the entire list?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not sure
No,
that
probably-
one's there
probably
yet,
not.
but the good thing about it is that, you know, like Faye said, I mean, this was the start in the right direction, and I think anyone that got upset that stuff didn't get touched yet, you know, give it a couple months, because they're going to look at the stuff that didn't get brought up. They're going to look at stuff that brought up. So I really think this was honestly an amazing step in the right direction, and I'm really excited to see what happens in a few months when they do another round of these. So
Yeah, I'm absolutely
Yeah,
with you.
right there with you.
She's very much said, like, yeah, this is going to be like an ongoing process. So not the big update, but like making tweaks and going, did we push this too far, or did we not push this enough, and making those little adjustments. And that makes me like really happy about like the state of the game, and that someone's like really taking an interest. And this might sound harsh, but it sounds like someone's paying more of an interest to Warmachine rather than Riot Quest, which is basically what I've wanted for like years.
Absolutely
Right?
Fair.
Yeah, so and maybe that'll start to die down as well, because I've got no love for Riot Quest, and I'm quite lucky as a Grimkin player. You don't have to bother actually buying.
Yeah, you don't
Riot
have
Quest
to.
So the only one you can take is ship. So, but we'll see how that pans out. But that's cool.
I
So,
was gonna say,
Gods. No, Rich.
I was just gonna say, speaking on Riot Quest, I've been frustrated because I really want to play Lilith 4. She seems really strong, but her model is so against the general aesthetic of Legion that I just don't think I can put her on the table. It bothers me too much.
I think my advice to like my local Legion players was just buy Lilith 1 and spray her silver. Be like,
give her dread.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
no one will know anyway.
You know
right?
what? we sucked it up for the Meccano Shredder, so we've already jumped the shark a little bit.
I see what you did there.
Isn't it funny when Thags 2 gets shot, he poops out a Meccano Shredder?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, some badass diet, definitely. So that's interesting to see. So everyone apart from Grant is shifting across, but I think there's so much good stuff out there to be playing. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how like the meta shakes out and how like actual big events look. Like we've not got a big event here in the UK for fucking ages. I don't think there's anything particularly on our calendar in the UK. There's the Belgian Masters, which is like in January, February.
It's in it's in March.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
I've got a ticket, I think, so it'll be fine.
Yeah,
and
I've still got to book. I've still got to book a hotel room for that. Yeah,
I think that's like maybe the biggest like European event. So yeah, we've got months down the line, and otherwise it's just smaller steamrollers. So like our local ones, we'll have like maybe 40 players, like locally at our steamrollers. And
40 for a steamroller?
Wow.
Yeah, we had
I'm,
the one that's
I'm
like,
really jealous.
it's like 5 minutes. I like live on the edge of like nowhere, and our club's like 5-10 minutes away. And we had, I think we had 39 players at our first event back after COVID.
That's awesome.
So we basically like split into like multiple steamrollers to make sure that we could everyone had 4 rounds and clear winners. So it was three concurrent steamrollers, I think, right? Yeah.
Something like that. I was quite happy with it's just had a 10-man steamroller on the weekend. I'm not quite as blessed as you are up north.
That's
since you guys have done events with the new rules, have you seen any common themes in what people are playing?
I mean, I was playing in the Brighton meta is weird. It never follows the general meta. So it's really hard to say. Was interesting seeing someone pull out double Mistriders, but it's hard to take it very seriously.
Was Harrison at your event?
Double Mistrid. I should have taken a photo just for Harrison, I swear.
Missed opportunity.
But I mean, we're seeing the things we sort of expected. Minions are on the rise. Everyone's loving minions right now.
Yeah.
Legion doing very well because Legion's in a great place.
Mm-hmm.
And people with high hopes for Crix getting their hopes dashed. So kind of what we expected worldwide.
Yeah, we've not had any events after the update. I had like a couple of like game nights and stuff, but I know one of our circle players has just said no, they're not anything compared to trolls anymore. So he's literally like bulk buying trolls. Kruger's in the bin and Gunny's on the table instead. So that's interesting.
Kruger's in the bin. That's brave. Yeah, that's a bold statement.
He was never really sold by Kruger, but he's like an old like Mark 1, early Mark 2 player, and used to love Bradigus. And kind of thought that Krug was a bit too much of a crutch and was like on borrowed time, so he didn't want to put too much effort back into him, which is kind of, I can see.
He's been borrowing that time for close on 10 years and he's not gotten older yet. So whoever he borrowed it from gave him some good terms.
I think it's the normal reaction though, right? Anytime something gets touched, people tend to just shelve it for a little while. So you touched a bunch of his solos, like his favorite toys, like Kogan and Scythe and the Death Archons, and then Windstorm got touched a little bit. So he'll be back. I guarantee. So by next year, you'll see him at the top of a con somewhere because you'll see him on the table and be like, oh right, fuck, he's still good. Like it's great too.
What about tomorrow
God
morning?
forbid Kruger becomes a control caster again versus just, like push the TK button on your stupid
I was about to say we could still see him go back to Bones and be a control caster again. And hey, weird, he's pretty good. He's pretty damn good at that.
But I think locally we've got there's a lot of love for Legion. So we've got Grimkin and Legion player who's I think getting ready to go back to Legion. Our Mercs player is just ready to jump onto Legion. Our Signal player has jumped onto Legion about like 4 or 5 months back, so he's now reveling in it. So yeah, we've got fucking a lot of Legion up here. But,
Makes me want to quit the faction already. I hate it.
there's always been like a lot of Legion in like the north of the UK. I don't know why.
This is the same problem. This is the same problem London had about 3 years ago with Circle. It was like in a club of about 12 players, 8 of us were playing Thorn. Like not playing Circle, just playing Thorn.
Just Thorn. Yeah. So at least though, I can build some more forests to take to our club night, and we don't have to worry about how Legion used to be. So.
It's wild because our area, Philly specifically, we have a ton of ret, and I don't know if anywhere else in the country is like a ret heavy meta, but it's like, oh yeah, no, I played like 4 rounds and 3 of them were into ret today. And it's like, oh, it's like, yeah, that's Philly.
Have to plan for ret.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, they seem
Mike,
really
Cat,
nice,
Harrison before he went to Circle, Elliot. Like we've got just like I could probably list 12 ret players off the top of my head without even blinking.
That's bonkers.
They
Yeah,
also
With
phenomenal,
that shield wall buff, are we going to see more of the ret single dudes like walking 24?
No, the halberds.
Alara to like Sentinel
Alara
spam
one.
or like
God.
Halberdier spam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that they
'Cause
used to
they
walk
actually
11
don't-
inches, now they're going to go 14 inches.
No, they don't have shield walls. They've got that's the one where if they're just next to each other, it's +2 armor.
Oh, the wall of steel.
That's wall of steel, so it hasn't actually affected them.
Do the Halberdiers have shield wall?
They do, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, to the Halberdiers. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because Alara likes sticking 40
that's-
Halberdiers on the table or whatever, right? And
Yes. That's all we saw for like 3
throwing
years
them a
straight.
million miles.
Yeah, but I won't have to see double tridents because they all think tridents suck now,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna let them keep thinking that, and they can put their halves on the table. I don't know. I'm just telling you what everyone's saying.
Yeah,
No, I think you're right.
I've seen a lot of
I'm
that
going to
as
stop. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop trying to disabuse people of that. I want to see less tridents. That's
Right?
great.
Don't argue with them. Just it's
They're
fine.
wrong.
Yeah,
Just
That's
nod-
fine.
nod
Let them be
happily.
wrong.
Yeah.
they're
I'd much rather
garbage.
see a stupid heavy that walks up the table 5 inches than a trident that comes from the next town over and
And
Shoots you-
slams
shoots you
and
9 times.
slams you at power 16 and shoots you. No. That's fine. Let them leave them. Let them leave it at home and cry in their milk.
Repo's
Like,
back
I
at
don't.
armor
I'm
22
okay.
or something. Yeah. I'm not too
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, we got a couple of Retribution players up here as well. We just seem to be like really elf heavy. Legion everywhere, Ret everywhere. So yeah, and none of our Ret players even own tridents. I think they all
That's great.
they all like swore off them before. So I'm like, this is fine. So yeah, so cool. Yeah, so let's go on to talking about like the actual event for you guys then. So it was 4 rounds, right?
Yep. Yeah, 2 on. 3 Saturday, and then the last round on Sunday.
Yeah. So, do you guys want to? Obviously, you got a lot of games to talk about. So, if you want to go through like basically round by round, a very brief overview of what you played, and then stop and chat if it's like your favorite game, I guess. How does that sound?
Sure.
sounds
Sounds
great.
good.
Yeah, let's cruise through this for sure.
Yep. I'll lead us off. Round 1, we got to play against 4 red ones and a circle player. Some sweet guys from I think New York, if
Yeah,
that
New York.
sounds right. Yeah.
My old meta.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I got to play into Menoth. He had Krios 3 and Sevi 1, which was actually one of the surprises that I looked through and wasn't ready for. I think Haley 2 put him off of Krios 3, so I dropped Striker 1 into Sevi 1, and we just played a brutal... I want to say the first scenario was Invasion, I'm not sure, but we just played like a super grind, and I was eventually able to get the block on his Judicator and kill the Archons, and then I think the block bullied the table, so it wasn't super crazy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Sevi 1's a really interesting choice. Like, I haven't seen him for ages because I feel like Sevi 0 does everything he does for another caster. Did he say anything about why he
I think
included Sevi 1?
He started coming back in like last like couple of months on War Table. I've seen like people have been dumping like
really?
Slyrenia and
Yeah, I think he just liked it for Eye of Menoth, and then having Defender's Ward and Ashes to Ashes and a Vision, and then his feat. I mean, his feat Had he been able to put Sevi up further, his feat would have completely fucked me over because I would not have been able to give the block focus, and he would have been able to have his Judicator threatening. But because of where a wall was, he couldn't get Pathfinder, so he couldn't get Sevi to where he needed to be. But his feat would have been pretty. It would have been pretty devastating had he landed it on me. So
That's fair.
So how did Crucible go? Oh, go on, sorry, go on, Rich.
No, go ahead. I was going to start my game, so if you want to...
No, you're okay, that's fine. That's good.
I'm going to breeze through my game in like 15 seconds. It was a Zaltu mirror.
Oh, shit.
We were both playing the same exact list on... I think it's called Invasion. I can never remember the
let me look.
But it's the most dead scenario. So it's just a turn 7 grinder. Great opponent. I apologize. It's been like 10 days since the event, so I can't remember a lot of names. But good game. I'm just super experienced with Zal too, so I was able to kind of force him to feet first, which is the Zal 2 game right there. Yeah. So
what's in your battle group, Rich? Sorry.
It's a Cyclops Brute, a Cyclops Shaman, a Basilisk Kreia, and an Agonizer.
Cool. What do you think about the Mammoth option? Because I've seen like mixed opinions on taking like similar battle group to you, or just taking like a big Mammoth and changing how you can like sort of shoot a million miles.
So the Mammoth option is my favorite list to play, just from a pure enjoyment perspective, and it's really nice to have the gun, but you lose out on the second Supreme Guardian because I really hate the version with the 3 huge bases.
Yeah.
So you lose a lot of your attrition power, which I think is a huge detriment to how the list wants to play. And then you lose the support package, which gives you like the wide variety of matchups that the list can play into. Like, for instance, if you don't have a Shaman, you can't really play the list into Kruger 2 or Dreamer. So that specific battle group package is like what lets the list play into like the world.
Much wider field, yeah. Cool.
And you played into his name was Steve, Rich.
Steve.
I pulled the list
Steve
up.
was great.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Super fun game.
Cool. How about Crystal Guard? How did you fare in the first round, Derek?
So I ended up playing into, I believe, Kozlov. I dropped Lucas, and Lucas plays a very fast game, and it's just a lot of armor debuff stacking, and I just was able to pick apart the heavy battle groups of the Khadorian army, just piecemeal it, TK him away, and...
I think it was Harkovich, right? Harkovich and Karchev?
Nope, it was Kozlov.
Gotcha.
And...
there's the other guy.
What's the other one?
It was Kozlov and Vlad too. I'm sorry. They have 2 Khador players. I was on the wrong one.
Yeah, no worries.
Come on, Grant.
I know, I'm such an asshole. Sorry. Every time I try to help, I fuck it up. Like that's why, you know.
It's like the captain's prerogative, right? So you just basically pull something out every turn with TK and just slowly...
I played Scott, who was a Khador player. We played the day before, and I played him a while when I was up in New York, so I knew the guy pretty well. And he runs his Karchev list like to a T. Like he's been running that forever. So his games always go like 10 minutes. He played my Bethane 2 list the day before, so I knew he knew how to beat it. Like once you play Bethane 2, you kind of know what to do. So I saw that he had Karchev again, so I was gonna kind of say, hey, can you beat Bethane 2 again? And then we wound up playing Callus 1. Now I haven't played Callus 1 in freaking forever. I just know that you literally run shit and feed and that's it. And then after we set the models down, I saw that he didn't have the same list as he played the day before, which the day before I think he had like 5 Marauders, which just destroy Archangels. This time he only had 1 Marauder. So if I would have actually read the list, I probably would have dropped Bethane 2 instead of Callus 1. Yeah,
real quick thing.
Do so much damage.
real quick with Derek is he shows up to play in the singles tournament and he doesn't have his fucking army and has to drive back to Philly from North Jersey and takes a loss round 1 because he doesn't have any of his models in his car. So literally leaves start of round 1, takes a loss, and then gets back in time to play in round 2 like a champion.
And I still came in 16th place. I drove like an hour and 10 minutes and just completely forgot my whole army.
That's rough, man. That's rough.
Open the trunk.
That's upsetting. That really
Open the
is.
trunk. I go, shit. I open the back seat. Fuck.
Well, I guess at least you didn't fly, right? And that would be
Yeah. And you
worse.
don't go to a con with your entire army. So I asked every Legion player, "Hey, do you have 2 Archangels I can borrow?"
Right.
Of course, they're like, "No."
No. Yeah. So
then I
he
had to
forgets his
try that.
army, and Jake's telling me he didn't know we were taking it serious. So my aspirations for winning are by Friday. We're already like, all right, well, I guess we're just gonna
Nose
start
diving.
drinking pitchers. Yeah, we're gonna start drinking pitchers of beer as soon as the bar opens, I guess.
Yeah. So the game lasted pretty quick because I just won. I think I went second, so I got points on turn 2, and then if you don't get points with Callus 1, you just win with scenario. So then I won with scenario with that one. But yeah, it was like a 10-minute game.
How do you think the new changes for Callus 1 are gonna like rock out? 'Cause
Awesome.
Birds are a bunch cheaper,
Awesome.
and he's got the crazy fucking sacrifice incubi to power through your spells. That's interesting.
Well, I was running the double chosen list, and now the Legionnaires are so much freaking better, going up to like armor 24 or 25. So now there's just a lot more single infantry dudes, and just being able to sacrifice to cast 1 less spell. Like he was always wanted to cast spells, just never could.
Yeah,
And now you're always
going
gonna
to
have-
cast the Dark Guidance. You're already
That was it.
kind of
Yeah, you're done.
skirting,
That's
skirting the
it.
danger zone.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now you can cast Dark Guidance and still sit on 3, or cast like an upkeep spell or whatever it may be. So he's a lot more viable with that, and he's now is extending 12 inches now is unyielding.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he doesn't have
wanna
to be
see,
super far
I
forward.
don't want to see more Callus 1 again.
You're gonna see a
one
ton.
Legion player I'd like to not see come back. And
I mean, as Rich, he'll play it. I'll let him borrow my list.
yeah, I used to
I
play
will
Callus
never
1.
play that list.
I have all the
Yep.
models, so you can do whatever.
Just take a snow shovel and
hopefully-
shovel my models forward.
Yeah, hopefully it's not crossing the pond because no one's excited about Callus 1 so far here, so may it stay that way.
Good.
Yeah, another
good.
one of those that let's not talk about it and it won't happen. It's fine.
I might just Iron Man a tournament with that.
And to give Jake some credit, I do want to throw in, Jake was he tried to back out of taking any responsibility, and he's like, no, like, you guys, I don't like doing any of this stuff. But Jake was really integral to nobody's surprise. Like, Jake identified really early. He was like, I think we want matchups instead of tables, because typically, historically in team events, the tables can be a little more fucked, and you want the tables. The matchups aren't as important, but he identified, I think, from round 1 that in the meta, again, this is kind of dated because now we're in a whole new world, but up to 2 weeks ago, he was like, I strongly believe that the matchups are insanely more important than the tables. So he kind of guided us to that. So our mission every round was we wanted matchups. We lost the roll the first round, and they chose tables, so we got matchups. Since I lost the roll going forward after this, I gave the dice to Rich, and he won the rest of the rolls. So we got matchups all 4 rounds. All 4 rounds. So.
Team ability. Yeah, that role.
So before we got into round 2, I did want to say that because Jake kind of put us on that right off the bat, and I thought that was really, really solid advice going into it.
Do you know what?
Very
Do
key.
you know what Jake's game was in round 1?
I
Do
don't.
something.
Yeah, I don't remember what.
I can tell
his
you,
was.
I looked down at my clock when he walked over to check at my game. I 15 minutes of my clock had passed, so it was like probably turn 2. And,
Yeah, his first
he
round was
done.
quick. Yeah, it was quick.
That's right. I think round 1 he was talking
Oh.
about it. He played that crazy Riot
Don't-
list that he was playing.
I was gonna say if it was
Which,
quick, it's probably
oh.
Riot, and no one is
Yeah.
used to seeing what she can do.
I will say what I was
He
happy
played the
about.
phone.
when I talked to Jake was that he said that, what did he say on the call, that like none of his Riot games had ever gone past turn 2.
Right.
He did instill a little more confidence in me when he said that. So yeah, I think he did play Rise that round.
So he just teased you basically. It's like
I think so.
Bringing killer lists. So round 2, what teams do you face?
So round 2, we got our good friends, part of our extended meta, the Mollywoppers. So Brad being, my podcast co-host and trader who moved to Vegas on me. But then obviously Rich, we're all very close with all the Mollywoppers. So that was we were hoping to not see them until the finals, but then we got them round 2, and we're like, okay, I guess we're gonna do this now. But trying to think if I have the scenario for that one real quick. I don't see it, but it's not super relevant. I'll run mine real quick. I get to play my good friend Baby Michael Stone, and to nobody's shock, it was a Striker 1 Kruger 2 match, which is a good match. It's hard. Striker is favored on some of the scenarios. I don't think this was one. I think this was spread the net. I want to say.
Was spread, yep.
Yep. I made a mistake on my feet, and I did not put my blockader in a position where, knowing that Michael was going to feat with Kruger, I needed to be within walk range at -2 speed of his stuff. And I did not put myself there, or not in range to be able to get to his stuff under feet, and I did not do that, so I didn't really threaten anything with Striker's feet. I did still take the game. We did end up bottom of 7. Was a wonderful, amazing game. Great grind with Michael, but I did lose that game to them. So
yeah, it's a long game. So what was your first game? Like how quick was that? That was turn 7 as well, you said?
I think my opponent, I want to say that they clocked, or the first game had gone pretty long. We kind of grinded. So I think both of my games were but the first 2 games were both pretty long. I did not get a nice break in between the first 2
you got all three first games on the same day, right? So you're gonna in for the long haul. Okay,
but Derek Senstrom was my champion co-captain, and he handled all the sheets and all this stuff and helped me when we were kind of running behind. So he was my hero.
Secretary.
Yeah,
I wore the glasses and a short skirt. I looked pretty hot.
So I will say this was one of the teams when we were looking through. This was one of the 4 teams that we were definitely like. We could lose this round. This is one of the favorites for sure. Even with some of them being a little rusty.
If you want to win, this is one of the people you have to go through.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I dropped my game. Rich, good.
Who were the other teams you'd like pegged for possible winners? So you guys were in a shot with the Mollywoppers.
Yeah, Mollywoppers, the Polish Fever Dreams, the California team, West Coast Strike Dolphins, Brandon Owens, and then the Lunicorns, who were what was their team name here?
God.
The Minnesota guys. They're awesome guys that we got to hang out with all weekend. I'm trying to find the team name here. Give me 1 second. This is why we can't have nice things. So those are the teams that those are the ones that we really looked at and were like, if we want to win, we got to beat these teams. Yeah. So.
Cool. Rich.
And that's not to take away from any of the other teams. I don't mean to do that. I'm just when we were going through that was
your biggest sharks basically out there. Cool. Do you want to go through your game, Rich?
Yeah, sure. This is probably my funniest game of the whole weekend. So I played Brad Park.
Yeah.
And we have had many, many games against each other in the past. One of my absolute favorite opponents ever, and he's just a phenomenal player. So this was a game I didn't really want to play. Kind of wanted to dodge this matchup. He was playing Gunbjorn 2 in Minions. So Junia.
Yeah.
Was he Gunny?
He's definitely got some tools.
Gunny and Helga was he playing?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. And Helga obviously can't play into Exalted, so it was going to be Gunny too. Who definitely has a spread of tools to deal with Exalted. He's got some RFP. He's got a ton of shooting that can get through Supreme Guardians because he can ignore the Force Aura from the Kreia. So a bit of a scary game, I thought, going into it. So I win the roll and choose to go second. And generally, Zal, when he plays into gun lines, has to play a very specific way to be able to beat gun lines, which I'll go through in a second. So turn 1, Gunny runs his army up the board as fast as it can go. Then my turn 1, I basically advance my entire army like 2 or 3 inches up the table. Mostly stay out of threat ranges, push some immortals forward, but like a very conservative turn. He takes his turn. He's got kind of like a decision point where he can try to start picking off some immortals, maybe RFP 5 or 6, but proc Vengeance, or he can just also play it very conservatively, which he chooses to do. And then on my bottom of 2, I score my rectangle and my flag. I run my entire army forward as fast as it can go and feet with Zal. And then Brad basically looks at the table and says, "Oh fuck," because the next turn, I'm in position to score basically every scenario element. If he chooses to back up outside of my feet. So Brad makes the astute observation that he has to try to kill Zal, or he is just gonna not have the power to get through the rest of the game.
That's a big ask.
Yeah. So Zal is in he's in one of those terrain features with the -3 range to guns.
Yeah, the squall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Zal's sitting in a squall and he's camping 3 Fury. So Brad has to basically Rain Man this strange assassination run, where at the end of it he can get a shot from Gunny, he can get some barrage team shots, the bomber, and the pig cannon thing. That is so stupid.
Yeah, the Pharaoh, the Razorback crew.
Oh, God, the crew, yeah.
That thing is so dumb. I hate it.
It is. It is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and you can't kill it because it always has 2 Dunian Archons that sit by it, and it's pretty dumb. But anyway, so he goes for this assassination. It doesn't work. It doesn't really come close. And then after the game, we odds machine it, and we realized it was a 0.8% chance of success.
Well, yeah.
So it was, in fact, not the right play to go for that.
That sounds rough. That's cool. Yeah, I think like Zal just does that to you, right? If you make a mistake and Zal gets into position, you've kind of just like gotta try and power through it, and not a lot of us can power through it. So.
Well, the problem is even if you do power through it, then Zal's sitting with like 22 Fury and he assassinates you.
Yeah, and I think there's like I don't mean to like talk down Zal. I think you've got to know your matchups and know like you said, Rich, you've got to know how to play into them. So you can't just chin everything and just throw immortals up the table. Whereas, maybe I could have done that with Aurora. You just throw yourself up the table and get into advantageous positions where you've got to, I think, know a little bit more about how much you can tank or how safe you are. And
I mean, that was quite an intricate plan.
Yeah, under 1% assassination chance means you're pretty safe, yeah. So, well played.
And this was another kind of brilliant Jake move, because Jake wanted Rich into Brad and he wanted to get himself into Danny. And Brad, or like I said, Rich had thought that it wasn't good, he did not want to play that round. And then obviously that ended up working out. So that was another good Jake and Rich both won. So those were huge. So
yeah, it just shows like you do, like you spend time doing basically matrices and you're what you think is like a green match for you, and the other team's looking at it going, it's a green match for us, right? So it's interesting to see.
And that's what Brad said too. Brad was like, "That's a dodge that I didn't know I had."
That's cool. How about the rest of you guys?
Didn't Brad say that he didn't read somebody's list?
That was
in Derek's list.
Yeah, he didn't read. He thought you had Silvestro, right?
Oh,
it's like, oh, fuck that up.
So I actually ended up playing Brad. I ended up playing Brad the day prior, he wanted to dodge what I was playing the day before because I was playing a variation of Ass Mountain, which is Gear Heart with basically as many medium base guys as possible. The difference is instead of running the mutant guys or the failed experiments, I ran the shooty guys, the medium base guys. So my entire army is basically armor 24 against shooting, and he had gunny. But he realized, wait a second, that's not in his pairing.
Yeah, you haven't got that today.
Which ended up putting me into their one player, Donnie, who played Grimkin. So it was Wanderer versus, I think, Lucas. And I'm not going to lie, this was kind of the game, and I guess this is part of the Wanderer shtick, but it was the game of let's see how many ones I can roll, and let's do it forever. So I'm not trying to take away anything from the win, but it was like, cool, I need a 3 to hit this guy in the back. Trip ones. Good. Excellent. But no, it was a really good game. I think it was a really good matchup for me. I just I think I misplayed it a little bit, and it is what it is. I lost that game.
Donnie's a good player as well, so yeah, good, fair play to him.
He's great.
Absolutely.
I'm surprised he wasn't running Legion though. Like Legion were like riding high into this tournament, and he's always been like a fanboy, right?
Funny story about that is the Legion faction I own was Donnie's Legion.
Oh right,
So-
Oh, right.
that'd be why then. That's cool. Yeah, it's nice to see him on Grimkin as well though. So that's cool. How did you end up in Doke? What did you bounce into?
I played the Menoth player.
Justin.
Who,
Yeah.
Justin is just phenomenal player. Just knows so much about everything. Last time I played him was against Scar 1, and that was a long time ago. But he kicked my ass. So going into this, I was like, oh man. But I dropped Beth against Harvey.
Yeah.
Me playing Harvey before with Crix was always like a nightmare because she was her feet would just kill everything. Yeah. So I knew the Archangels would survive, to that. I kept asking him, I think, a million questions throughout the game. Like, all right, who's immunity to this? Who can take this shot? How many shield guards do you have? And he just kept naming I think what did it for me was after the first turn of me trying to kill his monks, which was probably the dumbest thing I could have done.
It really is.
It was a bad idea. So I kept trying to, because I had the tools. I had the Helmal to eat it, or I had the Archon to pull it away from Harvey so he couldn't heal it.
Yeah.
Which I did both, but I missed. And then when he misses, he just walks back into Harvey's thing, and then he just heals him again. And then I actually ran a Harrier behind one of them to try and mute whatever the -2 defense strength spell that she has.
Transmutation.
Yeah.
Yes. And I tried to get him in the back. I was like, all right, I only need whatever it was. I need like a high roll. And I go to do it, and he's like, doesn't he have to be in your battle group? And I was like, shit. Yeah, he does. Because the list I played the day before, the Harrier was in my battle group.
Yeah.
So I played the tournament 4 or 5 games with the one list, and then I ran the 2 Archangels with this, and it messed it up. So I had to just try and say, all right, yada yada yada, done, go. And he had a wall in front of Harvey, so he kept Harvey more than 1 inch away from the wall, so the Archangel couldn't charge her. That was the thing. Like, he didn't want to get charged by the Archangel, so he kept her away from the wall. And then
he's
on my
got
turn,
like 9 shield guards, so you're never shooting her to death. Yeah.
Well, the thing was, he had the 3 units of the triple
The initiates.
Yep, 3 units of those. So he had 9 shield guards plus the one Jack that just stays near her.
So you can't even try to throw spells at her. Yeah.
Exactly. So that was my thought going into it. But with the scenario, he had to contest. He had to move the initiates out. He had to kill a Harrier, which somehow survived. So the one initiate squad had to kill the Harrier to get the points. And Derek told me the thing. He's like, "Hey, watch out for the Archons because you get +2 fire damage if Harvey's by it." Well, he's nice. Good of a player that he kept the Archons 25 inches away from everybody. So I never got that. But I did the thing. I was like, all right, so Harvey only has one shield guard now. She's not behind the wall. She's camping 4 or something. She was in range of 2 archangels, 2 sprays from the archons, and like 1 spell from hitting one of the jacks near her. So I did the math, and this is where I was like, crap, should I do it? And this is not playing enough games. I only needed 1 archangel and I think a spray and then a killer.
Yeah, I was about to say, Harvey's armor is so low that camping doesn't actually matter. Like, if she camps 10, she's still armor 19. You can shoot through that.
Yeah, and realizing that after I shot her 3 times with the archangel, then 1 spray, she just died. Now I know that it's a lot easier to kill Harvey than I thought.
You probably like drift and kill her with blast damage on a good day.
Yeah, if he put Harvey next to the wall, I don't think I would have got it.
Yeah.
No, with the wall, you're never going to shoot her out. Your archangels aren't accurate enough.
So you guys,
I mean, they're at 8. They're at 8.
But we eked that one out 3-2. So
Nicely done. Very cool.
yeah.
and then you go into the last game of the day. Then,
Yep.
so feeling
So
pretty
last
good.
game of the day, we actually got a semi-local team. There was Filthy Casuals AM from Portal, which is in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So kind of close to us. We go up there. We'd actually just been, Rich, Derek, and I were just up there, I think a month or 2 prior for a tournament for practice.
Yeah.
So we had seen a bunch of the guys. And who did I can't remember the scenario. I had Anthony Gata Jr. We call him from our scrums and our leagues, who had been paired with them. It was Silvestro into Haley 2. I think it was the first time I dropped Haley that day. He ran everything really far. I walked Haley up to a wall, and he looked and was like, I think I'm going to kill Haley because I haven't played in 2 years and I don't know what to do, and I think you just fuck me if I don't. And at that moment, I got scared because I think I had moved 4 inches out of my deployment zone with Haley and was behind a wall, and I was like, all right, well, that's not good. He goes through everything and leaves her on 1. And I'm like, okay, we're in it. We get to play a game. But I don't really have anywhere for Haley to go because I'm already not... I have to move because I'm basically barely kill-boxed anyway. So I moved sideways. I got a little too greedy with trying to score on my feet instead of just keeping Haley alive. Should have healed her. I think I only healed her for 2. I probably should have healed for more. Our feet had moved sideways. And I made one crucial mistake. I disrupted his arc node. I hit it with a -2 speed bomb. I had guys in the way, and the only thing I didn't ask was if he had a way to remove disruption, and he did. And then and I did not have a Stormlance in the way to block his arc node from getting, because he could still arc. All he had to do was walk out to the side as long as he wasn't disrupted, and then he could arc to Haley. So if I just moved one model in the way, he couldn't do that, but I thought I was safe. I'm like, it's disrupted, -2 speed. It's fine. And feed it on. So, and so he was able to kill Haley. So I fell that round.
What was what removed disruption? Is that just like the mechanics?
Alice.
Oh, yeah.
Alice hasn't.
Fucking Alice is like such a good attachment, right?
Yeah, and I'm so used to like in Signar.
Really good.
Yeah.
I'm used to in Signar where Strange Ways it used to be like range 4 or something, and I'm like, well, even if he could, she's so far away, he can never get there. And he's like, oh, up here, and then range 7. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, she's good. She's cool. Rich, you want to go for your one again?
Yeah, so I played into Scar 1 this round. It was more of a mixed, balanced battle group type of Scar 1 list than the list you occasionally see, which is just like Scar 1, 8 Stalkers, and nonsense. This list had 4 Stalkers, and it had Barathrum, and some of the witches and nonsense like that. Game plan for me here is basically to wait out Scar's feet by keeping the Supreme Guardians really far back, recur 6 Immortals a turn, just try to make him choke on Immortals, because I don't feel like he has enough attacks to get through those 22 nerds over a 7-turn game.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what we did.
That's pretty solid. The only efficient way he can kill them is with stalkers, but then he kills 2 or 3 with a stalker and he loses a stalker, so yeah, leaves him in a bit of a shit spot.
And then you bring them back anyway. Yeah, that's cool.
And we were playing a really live scenario. Again, I can never remember the names of the scenarios, but it's the really weird one with the
split decision.
Yeah. I really like that one. Yeah, that would be one.
So we just played a really slow, conservative game, and we're just able to completely wear him down on attrition.
Nice, cool.
You got the win there.
Who was the Scar player?
His name was Josh Rote, I think his last name. I'm not 100% sure.
So that was the only Quicks player that you saw at the event as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he was the only Quicks player.
Yep. I think so. Yeah.
Really sweet dude.
Cool.
Yep, he had Scar 1 and Scar 2 as his pair, both in Scourge.
That's fair. Cool. Derek A, what did Bethane 2? I'm guessing you played Bethane 2, right?
I did. Was this against the Grimkin player?
Yes.
Yeah, Heretic, King of Nothing. Yeah.
That's not great.
So Grimkin. Right? Well, this wasn't a good matchup for them.
That's not a good pairing against Archangels.
It was. I was going into pretty confident. His list was the Heretic with 30 of the corpse collecting dudes.
Oh yeah, it was the Dreadrots.
Oh god.
It was a lot of those.
Why?
It was a lot of solos. It was the monkeys. So I was pretty I knew I could just stay back and just shoot the whole list and just keep shooting. But I ran forward turn 1, and this is funny. So he moved up his Heretic, not really measuring distances or anything. He ran everything else forward. So I measured it out, and I could get 2 Archangels and like a spray onto Heretic. And I started doing the math. I was like, oh yeah, he'll take away 5 damage. I'm power 18, yada yada. And then I shoot Heretic once with my Archangel, and I'm like, all right, 15 damage. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna transfer. And I'm like, wait, what?
Your Hordes? What?
I'm thinking that I'm playing fucking Warmachine here. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm already in. I might as well just keep trying. So I shoot the second shot.
So how many
winners right here?
How many camps did he start off with then?
I think he had 2 or 3 transfers.
Yeah.
After I figured out that he can transfer. He had 1 shield guard, the little rabbit. So he had 1 shield guard, 3 transfers. So I was like, all right, that's good for Warmachine ads. Warmachine or Hordes probably not so much. But I rolled pretty hot. I had like every buff up.
He's only like 15, right? So as long as you're hitting him, you're gonna do.
I think he's like 15, 16. He's slightly tankier, but yeah.
Yeah, like he's not that hard to. I mean, with Rat 8 Archangels, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So basically, like after the first thing, realizing that I was playing Hordes, not Warmachine, I just went for it, and I finally got him with a spray.
Cool.
Again.
Yeah,
so 1 Archangel and a spray.
I definitely wouldn't want to run a Heretic list into double Archangels. That's as it was.
No, not at all.
I mean, the whole game, I just felt confident. Like it would have been tough either way if I would have stayed back and just shot from a distance because it out-threat everything with Archangels.
Yeah, you out-threat, and you probably just burn Dreadrots to death with just scattering missing AoEs, and it doesn't seem...
Exactly. You just sandpaper his entire list off the table.
Cool.
Yeah.
I do want to say that despite all of this madness, that Derek is one of our best local players and wins like most of our steamrollers. He's always on final table. He is an amazing player.
He just doesn't bring his armies.
He doesn't know Warmachine.
He just hasn't played in a while and forgot his shit. And doesn't know the different factions.
It's an interesting thing you say because the look on Rich's face as that story was going on was easily translatable as, Christ, was this really the best we could get for our team? Could we not keep looking around?
So here's the thing with Derek Asher right there. He's all instinct, baby. He doesn't know the name of the single model in the game. But he just wins. It's all
I don't know how.
He just knows how to play games. He's one of
He
those
just has the
guys.
feel
We're all
for
jealous
it.
of him. Yeah.
And I'm listening to that. I'm like, this is the
Right.
third thing he's told that I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? How did we win this?
Oh shit!
And then we've
Every
got-
game was like this, by the way.
Oh Jesus!
Wait till the final game. Wait till the final game.
Okay, right. Let's see. What? So, Critical Guard, how did the last event, the last round of the day turn out for you, Derek?
So I ended up dropping Silvestre. Real quick, what was his pairing?
Who did you play? You played.
Oh, Junior, his son.
You played Junior. So yeah, Larry Paladin Jr. He had Lilith.
Fags 2 and
Yep.
Lilith. Okay. Which
Lilith
Lilith?
Shadow of Everblade. I don't know which
Two.
one that is off the top of my head.
Number two.
There you go.
Shadows 2, yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up dropping Silvestre because I was like, yeah, I don't like dying, so I like the super stealth cloud, and I was like, I'm just gonna go run like defense 17 assholes into zones and contest. I ended up having, I guess, a little cheeky play, and I put up one of my Vindicators. I didn't even realize it at the time, but it was within threat of what is the armor piercing melee heavy?
Angelius, yeah.
No, the Angelus is a native 12-inch, goes up to about 16 if you've got all the toys.
Yeah, so it goes up to like even farther with Fags, which is it's wild. So that game was interesting, but he ends up taking that. I had admonition up on the Vindicator, so like he charges in, and he's expecting to kill it, and then bounce away, and I just pull back, and I'm like, all right. I don't necessarily know if at that moment he realized or whatnot, but I think it sort of tilted him during the game, and I was able to play a conservative game, take out a piece here and there, and
So
again, like I said, I had.
So, do you think he was just aiming to go in, do the armor piercing attack, just cripple a bunch of your heavies, and then feet backwards, and you just said no to the first big threat, and that was off the table?
Yeah, I think so. And like after that, I was able, and again, on the left-hand side in the zone with the flag, I had Varendry, and I was literally spamming back 3 halberds every single turn from Silvestre himself. So like that unit of halberds was never getting removed because he has very little RFP.
Yeah, that's rough. Cool.
And I was able to
Like
take that on the
himself.
scenario.
So, and that's your first day then, and JVM won all his games, right, as you said. So
He did.
So
He did.
whoever
Yeah, so we
he played-
4-1 that round, and I don't remember what his matchup was, but
It was Butcher 3.
That's right.
His opponent ran Butcher up pretty aggressively and was like, all right, I'm camping 6. Can you kill me? And Jake was like, well, all right, Fags, let's do this.
mhm.
All right, well, you're missing half that story though. It was kind of a cool play. So, the Kador player was running Butcher 3 with like 4 Devastators and a bunch of heavies, and basically ran his army up around Butcher in like a flying V formation with Butcher in the middle. But what Jake was able to do is he was able to use Neros and Blight Archons to like pull the heavies away. And then with Thag's feet, he was able to just get like almost his entire army on Butcher in the middle of all that and put it in
Nice.
dirt. So it was pretty cool, actually. It was a cool
Yeah,
play.
that is pretty. So we finished that round. We knew, and then at that point, we knew they put up the pairing, so we knew we were facing the Minnesota guys. This is why we can't have nice things. The Lunicorns, for when they were actually who we played in VTC in the finals.
All right.
Most of them were on that team.
VTC2.
What's that?
VTC 2.
Yes, the 2021 one.
Yeah.
We played them in the finals, so that was pretty cool to be able to meet them and then play in the finals again with them. So we actually, once we were done that, we had a lot of time, so we got to go over with them and hang out and get some beer. We had a couple pitchers of beer with them and chatted, because it was nice, like, being done for the day and then just being able to shoot the shit and like kind of talk shit and have fun and have some beers and get to know, because it was like we knew we were playing them the next day. We knew it was for the finals, so we knew it was going to be fun no matter what. So that was actually really cool. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that was actually a really cool format. How they had it set up, so we got to go into the whole night knowing that we were playing them tomorrow and hang out and stuff. So that was cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Did you guys? I'm assuming it's all localish, right? You just stay in hotels nearby. So
yeah, so we have it at the VFW, and then eventually the VFW, when we drink them out of beer, they throw us out, and we go back to the hotel. The hotel, unfortunately, isn't super conducive to like partying and hanging out. They don't have like a conference room that they'll give us overnight and stuff. Yeah. I will say real quick, plug though, for next year. Actually, I'm not sure if I can say that yet. But anyway, it's going to be taken care of next year. We will have a place to party 24/7, so not a problem. But we tried to hang out in the lobby. We tried to hang out in the lobby and play Captain Sonar and Rhino Hero and some other like fun drinking games, and the hotel staff was not having that. The one guy was foreign and he threatened to dismantle us, and we all thought that was the funniest shit in the world because we had never heard anybody. Yeah, we never heard another human speak to us like that, where they told us that we were going to get dismantled.
Yeah, he's a totally cool guy, like spoke great English, but it was just one of those like lost in translation kind of things where he thought it maybe meant something a little different instead of like.
I was going to say, it sounds like an online gamer thing, right? I'm just going to smell
right. Like, yeah. So we ended up actually hanging out in front of the lobby outside and just hung out with everybody and had some beers and had some fun that night. So that was a pretty cool night. So I just wanted to throw that in there before we got into the finals the next morning.
Cool. So before we go into the finals, you said about you played them in the finals of the VTC this year. Are you guys playing VTC in February? Have you booked in for it or?
We did, yeah. We are locked in. We have our team again. Will be in some variation of the 6 of us between the 5 that played the last 2 years, because Rich and I swapped out, in 2020 and 2021. So some variation of the 6 of us will be playing.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm not sure if the Welsh team have registered. I don't know. I've left it to our captain, and if he hasn't, then I'm just going to stream games and commentate instead and have an easy life. That's the plan. But yeah, I super enjoyed like both of the last ones. It's really fun event.
Yeah, so, super fun. If anybody was thinking about doing it, sign up because they're going to cut if they don't have enough people. So
yeah, we have to get Ryan on in the next couple of weeks and talk about it and see if we can drum some extra interest. So cool. So let's go on to the last round then. So you got your finals. You know who you're playing. Obviously, you've got lists are all out, so you've seen exactly what you're in for.
So we talked about that. Me and Rich shared a bed that actually Saturday, and we talked about lists till like 2 a.m. It was pretty romantic, honestly. Kind of teched for our stuff for the next day. No, so we went in and this was again, Jake was on top of this right from the beginning. I don't know, might be obvious to other people. I haven't captained or played in enough 5-man events, so I didn't. This was not common sense to me, but Jake, I think they put down, who did they put down first, guys? Was it the Mercs or was it Rhett? Was it Tom or was it...
Retribution.
It was David Bergstrom. So they put Dave down first, which we were surprised about at first, but as soon as they did that, Jake was like, they're going to hold their Strange Bedfellows players until the end. So, and we had... Because they had 2, right? They had 2. They had 1 in Convergence and 1 in Mercs, and he was like, they're going to hold them to the end. But again, Rich had won us the role. We knew we were going to take matchups. So when he said that, and we knew we could plan around how to get our best matchups into Strange Bedfellows, I think our plan was we wanted to get Rich into Brent Simon, and then Go ahead.
Just like a real top-down view of that, right, is that they've got 2 Strange Bedfellow players. JVM really cannot play into that at all. I'm comfortable into that, but I do not want to play into Vlad 2. They have a Kador player.
Yeah.
And the long and short of it is it ended up working out perfectly where JVM was able to put himself into Vlad 2. and I was able to get the Strange Bedfellows player. So we were able to engineer it so that matchup went perfectly that round. We still had to win the games, but we got the matchup.
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's amazing that Jake wants to play into Vlad too. I remember captaining a team, and I basically ended up bussing our Legion player who was playing Thags 2 into Vlad 2, and it was just a
the truth of it was that Jake and I both had like 3 dodges on that bear.
Yeah.
So it was more that he didn't want to play into the other stuff worse, that he took Vlad 2 because that was one of his better matchups out of what he had. Yeah. And yeah.
So, but if you guys, it's that game was actually streamed. JVM's.
Oh, really?
And I highly suggest to you, anyone watches it, because it's an absolute masterclass in watching someone win a game against Dreamweavers with like 5 models, which is what his Thags 2 is.
I need to watch that. That's, that sounds like a prime example of this is Jake.
It's a brilliant game. I watched it back. It's really phenomenal.
Was it just on Twitch, wasn't it, the games?
It's on YouTube.
No,
it's on YouTube.
I can send you guys the channel.
Yeah, cool. I'll stick it in the notes then, and then people can go and watch. Well, just watch the whole lot of the games from the weekend. Were you aiming then?
See that.
So Rich, you were looking for one of the bedfellows lists. Was you looking for
Brent specifically? So we knew we were going to hold Rich until the end because again Jake identified that they were going to hold their bedfellows. Yeah. So we knew we had to keep Rich. So we ended up throwing at one point. It was me. We were hoping to get me into Signar, which they did, which was good. And then that left Rich. We were able to pick Rich into Brent, and then I think who took the other? You did, right?
Bethane wants Aurora, right, as well.
Yeah.
No. So that's not. So Beth was matched up into.
Yeah, you played Rhett. Derek. Yeah, Senstrom had the other bedfellows.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry.
Too many Dereks.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So,
right.
So you're quite happy with how you got and did. So if Rich got the Brent matchup, you say Derek A got the other Strange Bedfellows.
Derek A got Dave Bergstrom playing Ret, playing Assyria and Shade 4. And I got Matt playing Siege and Striker 1, and then Derek Senstrom had Tom Cluis playing Aurora 1 and Osram. And that was how, and I think we were playing Recon. Does that sound right? Yep. So that's how that fell. So I'll start mine. I got to play Matt Bone from the Lunicorns. We had also talked about like jersey swap, and me and him were talking the night before, both being Signar players. So we actually were really happy that we got to play each other because we had spent a lot of the night before chatting. So there was a little bit of bamboozle where they threw us on an open table. So Rich and I and Derek started talking and wondering if he would drop Siege because our table was, it was just completely open except for a bunch of tall grass. So in my mind, it was going to be a Striker 1 mirror like on Recon, like for sure, but Siege also can play Recon, and with the open field, we thought it might be, but turned out he was just trying to play mind games, and it was Striker 1 mirror all day, which was fine. I chose second. Is that right? I think I chose second because I wanted to try to hold my feet. I knew I had to feet second in that match, and the game was really good. He came in. I got a wall in the middle where I could just put Gallant and a Morrowind Archon, and so Gallant just with sidekick, and the Morrowind Archon is Def 17. So I knew I could just kind of like exist there for a while until I had to shift into the zone. He had 2 Thamrite Archons, so I think he thought he was going to shoot me. He was going to be able to do a little more work with shooting, but he didn't have a Morrowind, so hitting the high defense was going to be a significant problem for him. So I tried to bully with that. He came forward. He had to hit a 12 or a 13 over the wall to hit Gallant with his blockader, and I hermited it, and then he missed the next one. And then I think at that point he felt he had to feet So he feeded. I think he scored 3. It ended up being 3-1. I went into my turn. Felt good because I knew I needed to feed second in that match because that just felt instantly like one of those matches where you're gonna feed first unless you can score like 4. Feels real bad. So I had a cheeky play that I got from when Michael Stone had done to me on War Table a bunch of times, where his Malvin and Mayhem was right on the outskirts of Striker's control. So I went in with my block and just like tagged him and booped him 2 inches out of the control range, so he was only armor 20 instead of 25. So I was able to take his Malvin pretty early, which was nice. And then he committed his block in at that point, and I was able, post feet turn, I took the block with my block and Gallant and like a Costa. I rolled some real garbage dice because Gallant went in with Purgation into Arcane Shield and should have blown it the fuck up and just did not.
Yeah.
But once I was able to get the block dead, then again, it was kind of, my block could kind of bully the side of the table, and I just started chipping away at the scenario.
Just take over from that.
And just kind of grinded it out. So really good game. Wonderful person I played against. Matt was awesome. We had a really good game, but being able to feat second, I thought was really important and really turned it for me.
What turn did you get through to? Like turn 4 or 3?
No, I think it was further when I feeded, or how long the game went.
Yeah, when you feated, and then
I feeded on 3. Yeah, I feeded on 3. I want to say it was bottom of 3. I can't remember exactly, but I know I feeded second, which was the important thing.
Yeah, and then you just ground out a couple of turns later.
Yeah, and then when block, we just kind of grinded, and once I went up CPs, it was kind of going to be tricky for him to catch up. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Nice too. Rich, how did the score go? So you're into what was so Brent's playing it in Convergence, the Aurora 2.
Yep. So he's got Aurora 2 in Axis. So he dropped Aurora 2 as expected.
Is he running like 3 Tesselators or 5? And is he running Death Archons or Voids? I can't remember the list yet.
Yep. So he's got Death Archons.
Yeah.
He's got 4 Tesselators, and his little interesting take on the list, which I really, really like, is he's got 2 of the big solos that recur.
Yeah, the Enigma Foundries.
Yeah. He's got 2 Enigma Foundries, which is a really nice tech option, I think. So the way that matchup kind of plays out, especially when you're playing a list like Zal, which is fairly slow and ponderous, is that Aurora is just going to be able to set up whatever alpha she wants. And, as the Zal player, you can't do anything about that. But what you absolutely can do is you can't feat too early, because then Aurora is just going to be able to back up her army to the edge of the scenario zones, wait out your feat, and then just come in the turn later.
Yeah.
So you have to play that a little bit carefully. So he unfortunately wins the roll to go first. So he runs his entire army up into the midline. So I have a pretty typical turn 1 where I run my Immortals up, I spread them out pretty wide, I keep my Supremes fairly far back out of threat range. Just as best I can, try to prepare to take the alpha, not lose any important pieces, and hope that he doesn't kill like all 22 of my Immortals.
Yeah.
So he takes his turn. He decides that he's going to go all in. He's going to go as deep as he can into my lines and take out as many Immortals as he can on the top of 2. Which he does. He kills, I believe, 16 Immortals. So I think I'm left with 6. Which does not feel great. But he unfortunately had to use a lot of clock for that play. So by that point in the game, I think I was up by 20 or so minutes on clock. So I just kind of realized that was going to be my win condition that game. So on my crackback, I'm able to do a lot of good work. I kill 2 Death Archons. I kill 2 Tesselators. I kill about half the Angels. And then I have my feet up in the scenario zone, so he's not able to score. And then at that point, he just gets too far down on clock, and I just keep throwing models at him, and I'm able to take that game on clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he feat to take that many models out?
Absolutely. Yep. He feeded, shot me with a bunch of tesselators. I was hoping in the end that I was going to make a few more tough rolls. So instead of having like 5 immortals left, maybe I have 8, which actually makes a really big difference in how that game plays out. But I didn't. It would have been interesting to see how that game would have played out if clock wasn't a factor. Because I do think I was clawing my way back in the game. You know, I still had a car, I still had my Ancestral Guardian, I still had both Supremes.
Yeah.
So I still had pieces, but you know, I lost a lot of immortals that turn.
Cool. But you just grind it out anyway. Yeah, I think as long as you've got your Supremes and you can keep on pumping out more immortals, your feat turn's probably pretty safe once he's blown his load, I guess.
Yeah, so I think the key to it really was that, you know, when he feeded to take all those models out, it was top of 2.
Yeah.
So he wasn't using his alpha to score any scenario points.
Yeah.
Which meant that I was able to get up a little bit on scenario, and because he was so much down on clock, you know, he wasn't able to just like do a little bit of work, tap the clock over. Yeah. Even though he was up on attrition, he was still kind of in the hole at that point.
Too much to dig back from.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Well, that's nice win there. So what did you have? You have Retribution for Bethane too.
Another classic Derek moment coming up right here.
All right.
You said wait for the last round. Okay, so go on then.
The last round. So I saw Gorshade for an Assyria, and I've played Assyria a bunch of times where she just shuts down angels. So there's literally nothing that I can do.
Blinding Light makes them pretty sad.
Yeah.
So I can't really drop Bethane too. So I think he was surprised that I dropped Callus 1. And then after like going over the list, stuff like that, he goes, "Yeah, I mean, I played Callus 1 for like 2 straight years," and I was like, "Oh shit!" So he does exactly how he plays. He knows what he does. And there was a kind of like a crescent moon in the middle of the table, and then there was like a big building on the right side, and we were playing the 2 rectangles. So I was like, "All right, this is perfect for Callus 1, and if I go second." So I win the roll off. Now again, this starts the shitty decisions from me winning the roll off. I win the roll off. I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be great. Let me go second. I want that side." He's like, "You sure?" I was like, "Yeah." So I get that side. I put the Hellmouth behind the crescent moon. I put the Hellmouth behind the building. I'm like, "Yes, I got Hellmouths in pretty cool positions." So he goes first. He runs everything up. He's got 2 of the things that we hate, the big battle engines.
Yeah.
And he has 4 of the solos that just kill everything. They're really fat
executioners. Yeah.
It's got, which I found out that in the new edition you have to pay for them, so it's 18 points that basically he has to lose. And then he's got the 1 unit that has cleave, and he's got a couple jacks, and scythe. He had scythe. So first time I played this list, never played this list before. And then he runs everything forward. So then I start measuring everything out, and I can actually get my Bladebringer up in the middle of the table, Callus right behind it. All of the dudes will be armor 19, and then the birds like in a good position. So second bad decision, I move everything forward, and then I feat with Callus 1. Everything is within 12 inches of Callus, so everything's within my control range. Everything's like within 6 of the Bladebringer, so it just looks great. What he does is he literally backs up, takes about 2 minutes of his clock, and then hits it over. I'm like,
I love it.
oh my gosh, shit. He literally didn't kill one single model of my entire army. And again, that goes with the guy who played Callus 1 for 2 freaking years. So I didn't use any of my incubi, didn't make 1 incubi. And then the second turn, I basically move everything forward. Like I literally just say, all right, I'm just gonna jam because I can't really kill anything because he moved everything back into my threat ranges. So I was like, all right, if I can at least score 1 or 2 points this turn, I'll be able to push scenario. So I get 1 point with my flag, with Callus, and then I basically block everything off around Callus and throw everything to contest his side. So then he goes, and he just literally kills my entire army. By the end of this, though, I look at the clock.
That sounds like a serious feat turn, and just everything dies.
And like I said, the solo guys, they just killed literally everything. The battle engines killed so many birds. I still had the Hellmouths. Hellmouths lived. And Callus lived. So he killed the Blightbringer as well. So Blightbringer got charged. Killed literally everything. So my turn goes. I'm like, all right. I literally have nothing left. So Callus runs up, kills the solos. I get the point on the flag. And then I just kind of shield Callus one more time. Then I clock it over. By this time, though, he has 9 minutes. So remember, turn 1 he ran. Turn 2 he spent 2 minutes. And then turn 3 killed literally everything, and he had 9 minutes left. So his turn goes. Now, again, before I did that, before turn 2 hit, I look over, like, hey, how'd everything go? I found out our team won. So at this point, this game really didn't matter. So me and him were just doing shit, didn't really care. So by his turn, he's like, all right, I think I can get Callus. I'm like, all right, do it. I didn't have any transfer targets. Everything was dead. So Callus literally sitting in the middle of the table. Back was kind of like turn because I had to kill the one solo. And then he charged me with a freaking battle engine. Well, to do that, he had to take 4 free strikes. So 2 chosen, hit it pretty hard. I got a free strike from the Hellmouth, which hit it pretty hard. And then my last free strike was from my solo, the guy with the rock, Amok.
Right? Oh, no. Yes.
I forget what I needed to roll. I needed to roll like a 15 or something in damage. I think I rolled a 13 and left it on 3 boxes. And then he hit it, knocked him down, and shot him and killed Gauss. So it's streamed, so you probably don't want to watch that game. It's not a great game if you're a Chaos 1 player. And the rep player, it's not a real list anymore. So you're not really going to want to watch that list anymore either.
At least
although I would say David Bergstrom's an amazing player, so you could watch it just to watch him play, because
he knew everything. Like he really good player.
I mean, he basically won that game when he backed up 2 inches. Up 2 inches, flipped over the clock 2 minutes.
He had both battle engines towing the zone. He had all of his jacks 4 inches away from the flag, and everything out of my threat range. And
that's the same thing you do to newer Zol 2 players. Like if they feel they have to feed turn 1, exactly that.
What would have happened in my game against Brent? Like the exact same thing would have happened if I had feeded with Zol on that turn.
Yeah. Exactly.
And if I would have just feeded turn 2, it would have been, he probably would have clocked.
Yeah. If you spent that long chewing through your army without the feat, then you wouldn't have been able to.
Well, what's sad is
you lose all your stuff like cleave and all the extra attacks that would normally kill you.
He loses all of it.
Yeah.
Hey, it's just a really tough one because those tridents are so fast. If you don't feat turn 1, he will feat in just exactly what he did turn 3. He'd just do in turn 2.
Well, that's what he said. He's like, you should have just put the chosen in front, keep your birds behind, out of charge range of the trident so that he can shoot me. But they're armor 19 with healing. Like it's dice out 6.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's like that's what I should have done.
Just let them be a shield.
And what the sad part is, if you look through our messages, it's like I asked Jake if he had any more
Incubi.
Incubi.
This is going to be a big turn, boys.
I didn't use any.
Well, I looked over and because their table was next to mine, and I looked over and I saw Dave was super far up the table, and I hear Derek say he's going to feat. I'm like, okay, and then I look at Derek's army and I'm like, did he just fucking say he's going to feat? He's in his deployment zone. It's like, what turn is this?
Sorry, I haven't played Callus in a while.
No, that's fine. It was fine. It worked out, but it was just funny because I heard you say feet and then saw you were in your deployment zone. It was like, what the fuck did he just do?
I had the best fucking setup too. Like everything was in range of everything, and it didn't matter. He's like, "Yep, all right, your turn."
I saw the most beautiful Blightbringer interaction this week at my club. Is one of the ex-English WTC players is playing Legion, and I think he's playing Chris. I think Chriso with like a load of Legionnaires and a Blightbringer, and outwheels the new Kaya and muzzles the Blightbringer. Basically, it's like this 5-minute conversation of, but you can't make me sacrifice this, and you can't do this. And it's like, no, your Blightbringer is just fucked. The entire game now.
Yeah.
Sit there and wait to die.
Stranglehold can't do the shit anymore, but muzzle still works.
Muzzle's OP now.
Like 2 people have it in the whole game. It's like a very rare spell.
Who's got it apart from Kaya?
Helga won.
Oh, right. Fucking hell.
Oh god.
Because minions needed some more help.
Does lock the target still work too? Because Cray has that. Would that still work on them?
And
they don't have to forfeit. They just can't charge or run.
Yeah, Virus has got a lock target too, hasn't he?
Yeah, that'll work. That still works. There's no sacrifice involved.
Yeah.
Is it 1 or 2?
Derek, tell us about your Merc game, buddy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
So it was pretty cool. Dropped Lucas because I was like, all right, I might Cloud Wall, do some jank there. That'll be fine. So he ends up dropping Aurora 1. So in this matchup, going first is like the linchpin to not dying aggressively, to which I failed to win the roll. He went first, ran up past the center line, like he was like, all right, you kill some angels, I don't really care. So I'm like, all right, cool. So if I advance 3 inches backwards, I'm still in your threat. So we're just gonna do this. So I walk forward a little bit. I think I peel off a couple angels, just do a few little odds and ends. And it was actually at one point, the following turn, I think it was turn 3, where I shoot one of my AoEs, I boost it. I think I need like a 10 or something. And I'm like, all right, whatever. If I hit, great. If I scatter, it's like 5 inches away from anything that matters. So I scatter, and I end up hitting like one of his like mechanic guys or something. I blow it up, and it's within 5 inches of his Death Archon, and I had activated almost my entire army at that point. I was like,
now you've given it vengeance.
Oh, no. Now I just gave him vengeance. This is good. So that Death Archon came in the following turn and killed like a lot. Killed, I think, like basically half health a one of the trains. And this was on Aurora 1 feet turn, I should mention. Half health the train, basically killed a jack, stationaried my cat. Like it was bad. Yeah. I was like, well.
And this is this is before the effective buff that they just got that now actually hurts constructs.
Yeah. So
but they lose 1 inch wild. It's fine.
No, that was big. Let's be fair, that was big. But yeah, it's now no longer just War Beasts. Now Warmachine can also feel the pain that we've been feeling. That seems right.
That literally is like the definition of balance, right? It's like making both sides.
Just make it
as much.
Fuck everything. Yeah, that's exactly.
Kill them all, machine.
Yeah. So the Death Archon comes in, eats a fuck ton of stuff, and then what do you manage from there?
He was able to clear off a fair bit. He was up on scenario just because like I can't go forward really. I mean, like obviously I did. I paid the price. So we played out the rest of the game, but it did not get better for me. And he played a very, very smart game. He played very well. And I could not claw my way back after that sweet mistake.
Yeah. But you'd clinched it as a team by then anyway, so it was okay. You took...
at that point, my game actually ended very quick.
All right.
So at that point, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, he lost.
I looked at Derek's table and was like, "Oh god, he's gonna lose." I lost, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is not."
And then my game, if you looked at my game at the wrong time, it looked like I was getting blown out of the water.
Mark Howard actually walked up to me and goes, "Hey, how's your team doing? And I was like, really not great. Not great from the look of it.
I thought we lost because Rich was on one side of me. I had Apshi feeding on turn 1 on the other side of me, and then Derek walks behind me and loses, and I'm like, all right, well, my game doesn't matter anymore because we're fucked.
Out of the games that you won, so Grant, Rich, and JVM wins. Which one was the closest? Was it Rich's game? Like, what would have swung it to be a loss for you guys instead?
I think it was Grant's game was sort of the linchpin game of the round.
Yeah.
He needed to win the Striker 1 match. My game was strange in that it looked bad, but I was so far up on clock. It was one of those weird games where like I kind of felt fine throughout the whole thing just because of that clock advantage was so sizable. Yeah. Which, again, like we're all pretty out of practice. So, I think it was a direct result of that.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'd say mine was like close the entire time until we were able to kill that block. But we grinded. I did feel pretty good when I was able to get Gallant and the Morrowind in my zone against my flag. Like he flooded it with precursors, but I was decently confident that they were just never going to hit. But we did grind. I was very nervous that whole game. Really till the block died, and then I thought that swung it. But yeah, that was a good feeling when I got done, and I think Jake and Rich finished right about the same time. And again, I thought we lost, and then they told me, I think Brad was behind me and told me that we had won because Jake's game just finished, and that was a super cool feeling. I'm glad those guys got second. They were an amazing team to play against, super awesome guys, and that was just. Couldn't ask for anything more. That was a great round, and we all played great. I'm really proud of everybody. We had an amazing time. It was a blast.
Cool. Well, congratulations, then, guys. Yeah, awesome. Are you proud of everyone for all of their mistakes and all their wins? Mm-hmm. Yeah,
hey, Derek, he as much as that was insanity, he went 3-1. I went 2-2, so I don't have a place to give him any shit.
There's some crazy big brain thinking of bouncing his ideas around. Man, that sounds like an awesome event, though. So yeah, it's really well done. Well done for coming out with the win. What's next for you guys? Are you do because obviously it's Warfare weekend is like this weekend.
Today, yeah, like people are there now. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So obviously JVM's already there, you said, or on the way.
Yep.
Is it just wrong timing for you guys to be there, or what's the next like big event?
I was qualified. I just just bad timing with work. When I go to Warmachine events, I disconnect from real life so hard.
Yeah.
Because I get so focused on playing the games with everyone that I just felt like I couldn't do it this time around, but definitely looking forward to it next year. Hope to qualify again. And then our next convention that I think most of us will be going to is Captain Con, which takes place in early February in Rhode Island, so the Northeast, not too far from us, probably about a 4-hour drive or so.
Yeah.
I think Jake and Ben were talking about flying in for 40K for that to see us and to do 40K there. Oh, I don't know if that's still. Yeah, I don't know if that's still on the board because I don't know with the restrictions and flying and stuff. I don't know if that's allowed, but that was what they were talking about before.
I think we're okay flying to the States, but I know they're properly like deep into 40K. The lot of them pretty much.
Yeah, but it'll be sweet to see them. There's LVO Las Vegas Open. That's going to be too far, but now that Brad's out there, that's around the same time as Captain Con, so that's another event I would like to get to, just to get to see him some more. But we've got Captain Con, like Rich said, in February is our next one, so we've got some time to get some steamrollers in, and grind some games. And VTC will be end of February, hopefully, so we'll be doing that too. But yeah, it's a good time, man. It's Warmachine's. It's a really good time. There's a lot of hype around the game. Even just talking with people at Bokur Brawl, and then this weekend, like these changes where people that haven't played the game in years are messaging me, talking about the game and lists, and it's really exciting. Super happy with.
Yeah, it seems like it's bringing people back to the game, and Brawl Machine is bringing new people into the game again, which has been missing for like a good while, I think. So I think we're in a good spot. So I've got one question for all of you. Obviously, the update has dropped. There's some big changes. The meta is going to be bonkers. What faction is going to win this weekend at Warfare Weekend? Grant.
Circle.
Oh man, that's so hard. Yeah, I want to root for Michael and say Circle. My gut, I'm gonna stick with Mercs. I'm gonna say Mercs will win because that's like such a bullshit blanket answer that covers so many things.
It does come along. So Mercs for you, Grant. Which was that Circle from you?
No, that was Derek.
Oh, that Derek.
Come back to me. I'm still thinking. That's a tough one.
That is tough.
I'm gonna say Kador.
Ooh,
I
spicy.
think Kato's a fairly
I think
safe
Kato
bet
come out
right
as one
now.
of the top runners. Yeah, they're really good. I think.
Yeah.
Derek.
I just want Wold Rats to kill people.
It was gonna be Bethane too, but now I don't know.
That was just the thing too.
Was that Derek? Was that you want Rolled Rats to be winning the world?
Wold Rat meta.
I've got
Busier, baby.
our team event. We're not. No one's gonna care. But we're doing
Yeah,
a
I
team
think-
event this month. One of my teammates is running Boulder 2 double World Wrath.
Love it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Those things are ridiculous now.
Plus like
I
Megalith and
think-
a World Warden. It's such a lot of.
I think your World Wrath meta is right up there with my piggyback meta. Like it's a nice stream.
No, see, they dropped
don't
6
know.
points. That's
he-
good. I think it's really good now.
He's
Yeah.
basically got enough points to have an
It's
extra
still
heavy.
shit.
Yep.
I think it's
Little
good. I think
shit.
it's wrong.
Also, are we being assholes? Our teammate who couldn't make it onto this cast is at Warfare Weekend right now, and we didn't pick Legion.
No one's like
I was
JVM
about to say
for the win.
my bet wasn't actually going to be Legion. It was just going to be JV.
Yeah, that's like taking chalk, though. You know, that's like taking the favorite in the event. That's not
it's
as fun.
It's not an interesting bet. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
But cool, I guess. Well, thanks very, very much for scheduling this crazy time for us, and yeah, we managed it. I think we waited around like about an hour for Evan and me to do the tech stuff because our clocks changed back, and America doesn't change back until is it Sunday. Your clocks.
Who knew? Yeah, we all learned that today.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we learned some geography shit. Well done, everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Thanks for having us,
you
guys.
coming
This
on, and
was
it's,
it was a lot of fun.
yeah, it's good to see
Thanks
how
for letting
you
us come on and talk about it. It was really cool.
Thanks a
for
lot.
joining us.
Hope to see you guys across the table at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
Yeah.
If any of you guys heard back about WTC, because like I think Simon did like a poll a couple of months back or a month or so ago, and I know people are waiting to see if they're proposing they're going to go ahead next year or with like a limited format. So that's like the next.
Yeah, it was
huge-
pretty much all we heard. The last I heard was that there was kind of no news as of
Yeah,
right
they're
now. They were
thinking-
just kind of talking about it. So
Yeah, well, I'll try and reach out and see what he says. But yeah, so hopefully, yeah, I'd love you guys to come over. My life is a lot more complicated. I don't get a lot of outside time to play. Spend time looking after my kids instead. But yeah, well, thank you again, and yeah, well done, and hopefully,
Thank you.
See how games rock out this weekend. I think there's some bonkers lists potentially. I don't know if they're streaming any of the games, but it would be really interesting.
They
to
are.
see
Yep.
the
They're
aftermath.
streaming all of them.
Minority Report, right?
weekend.
Those guys have basically busted out all the tech, and they're doing streaming and podcasting. I think for live from Warfare Weekend. So
Yep.
look them up if you want to see the
Oh,
games.
great.
Cracking.
Yeah. Watch. It's gonna be LCQ game streamed, then one game from every round of the qualifier. So it's gonna
that's
be a fun weekend. See what people are. I'm really excited for lists to drop and see what everybody's playing. It's gonna be.
I'm really
cool.
excited because it's I mean the
It's
Wild West is now.
yeah, it's gonna be cool.
a whole new world.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah,
So
I'd love to give a big shout out to all you folks who do what you're doing right here, folks who manage to get to cons and stream games, all these podcasts. Like, it's just great to have coverage of events, and it makes it feel like a real thing. It makes it feel bigger than it is. Gets people excited. I just think it's like one of the biggest things for the community. So
Well, cool, man. Yeah,
thanks
and
for all.
I'm the same. I super appreciate like getting to watch everyone else's games as well as throwing out ours. So yes. definitely the feeling is mutual for me. I'll be watching Wolf Weekend this weekend as well, so that'll be cool. And
yeah, and keep streaming those war table games, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, hopefully we'll
Yeah,
get some physical games recorded this weekend as well. We got like a 9-hour gaming session on Sunday, so we're gonna bust out the tech
Sweet.
and see if we can get
Can't wait to watch.
real games.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
On that war table game, I'm being the change I want to see in the world.
That's right.
Because my piggyback, that's what Gandhi was talking about right there.
Yeah, piggyback meta.
Oh,
on.
no.
All right, guys, have a good night.
Cool.
Thanks so
Thank you very
much.
for joining us, guys.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
All right.
Right.
Nice night.
Take care.
This is great.